Well, here we are. As predictable as the sun setting this evening and rising tomorrow, our supreme leader, the savior of our country, has suddenly realized that he is so unpopular that even the boring, unhinged lunatics that belong to the same regime cannot take it any longer. Yes, there they are. The very people orchestrating the eradication of our hard-won British liberties and values in the hope that it will ultimately lead to our demise as a nation. Anyway, he's gone. Or rather, should I say, going. So, I'm sorry, folks. You will still have to endure that dull, depressing monotone voice a little while longer.
It's all Tommy Robinson's fault.
That is until his comrades in the Red Party elect another ideologically driven tyrant that will continue to make our lives a living hell. It is quite the feat to secure a crushing parliamentary majority and then proceed to spend the next 2 years seemingly determined to see how quickly one can squander it.
The return of the sausages.
But now the end is near. For our beloved Keir, let's look at some of the highlights of this dictator's short time in office, the promises he made, and the achievements he delivered. Let's stretch our mind back only a short time ago when he was begging for a chance to capture the highest office in the land, but needed the votes of those poor wretched unfortunates who were needed for him to achieve his goal and seize power.
We need to be clear about council tax. Labour would freeze council tax next year using that windfall tax that hasn't been collected. Yes, you heard it right.
The North East regional average for a Band D property will reach £1,883. Not far behind is the South West average, which is rising to £1,846. And in the West Midlands, that average Band D council tax will increase to £1,731.
Not a penny more on your council tax, not a penny more than the bill you paid last year. And that is a tax cut for the 99% of working people.
Labour's new funding shake-up could allow councils to raise council tax far beyond the current 5% limit.
Today, the energy price cap rise has been announced, and that's going to cause real pain for so many households. So many people have said to me, look here, I may not be the hardest up, but I'm going to really struggle to pay these energy bills. I understand. I completely understand why so many people are frustrated at the government that's not doing anything about their energy bills.
But today I am making the difficult decision that those not in receipt of pension credit or certain other means-tested benefits will no longer receive the winter fuel payment from this year onwards.
Save the winter fuel!
Cutting pensioners' winter fuel allowance. Charging farmers inheritance tax.
What do we want? Justice!
And now denying compensation to the Waspi women. The government say they've been forced into difficult decisions because of the nation's finances, but it's not what many people thought they were voting for.
Have you betrayed the Waspi women, Prime Minister?
Politicians, especially Labour, actively campaigned prior to their election to say they supported the campaign. And as soon as they're in government, they backtracked.
Just a few of the many lies the beloved leader spewed out to the gullible publicus just to get elected. And we haven't even mentioned the likes of the Pakistani grooming gang cover-ups, the sleaze scandal surrounding his sponsor Lord Ali, or even the Pete Mandelson shambles, because we're saving them for another day. Now you're probably thinking, quite rightly, that all politicians are generally not considered the most honest of people. So we'll park the integrity thing just for a moment and see what other qualities this dynamic specimen of a man has in his locker. I mean, any alpha male that sits behind the desk of 10 Downing Street must surely have what it takes to impose his authority and get things done. Go get 'em, Tiger.
And that's at the
Could you
core
take
of the
on Russia by yourselves?
Well,
bothering him. That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Get out of my pub.
Okay, enough of that nonsense. I cannot believe I was almost starting to feel sorry for a tyrant. Another quality every bona fide leader must have, if he's to be respected throughout the world, is to be an ardent defender of free speech. To ensure that all citizens must be able to express themselves freely without fear of reprisals.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time.
If you preach in here, it also depends on what you say, because you might be committing criminal offences as well.
For example, give us an example.
Any homophobic comments?
Yeah.
Right,
if you make members of the public harassment, alarm, distress, it's a criminal offence.
To be clear, that doesn't apply to these religious free spirits, who are free to practice their religion in full public view, without any interference from Comrade Starmer and his policy enforcers. Only those unruly, disruptive and troublesome Christians and Jews need to take heed that their beliefs will not be tolerated in the eyes of the regime. Regardless of his insistence on the world stage that the UK holds free speech in very high regard, the edicts of Comrade Starmer and his henchmen, hench people, are only too evident in the everyday life of the people of the UK. The persecution of anyone who holds different views to the far left is an all too familiar sight on social media platforms. Unfortunately, the mainstream media has other things to report, like the plight of those poor souls who have been misgendered.
I have grounds to arrest you. Google it, it's code of practice, okay?
I'm aware of
I
that.
can arrest this
I know,
suspicion. Okay?
that's fine, I appreciate that.
Can I confirm you're aware of the allegation now that's been made?
No, I'm still not aware, that's why I want to ask you some questions, yeah?
So, what aren't you sure of? I can see you smiling, so I think you're finding this a bit of a joke.
I'm smiling because I'm a friendly person.
I'm going to ask you one last time, otherwise you're going to be placed under arrest. So, I'm going to ask you for the final time, sir. I'm not asking anymore.
You're finding me guilty?
Not guilty, no.
Oh, I'm not guilty, thank you.
We
are recording an incident, a hate incident.
I am not.
For your understanding,
I am not admitting
to listen
to something.
so we can explain what's happening.
There's no doubt in my mind that the police had already found me guilty.
Well, at the moment, I'm leaving it open for a voluntary interview.
Well, I want to know what can I be charged with then? What have I done? What is the alleged crime?
As I say, it's a racial matter.
Yeah, but what's the alleged crime?
Malicious communications.
Malicious communications. Indeed. Okay. And how have I?
Well,
what's malicious? Malicious communications. Malicious would mean that I had intent to harm someone, surely.
So that's what we'll be looking.
Can you confirm that malicious means?
That's what I can discuss with you.
No, can you confirm what your definition of malicious means?
Malicious communications is making comments on an open forum, which is social media, which is deemed to be offensive.
Offensive.
Yeah.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The ideological tentacles of the loony left, championed by their beloved leader, reaching out onto every street in the land to ensure no one is standing for the truth and the freedom of expression. When all is said and done, if your Prime Minister believes a woman can have a penis, then what hope is there for any glimmer of common sense in the shallow minds of his little minions? Before we wrap this up, we must however be fair and balanced in our assessment of this man, and remind ourselves of the successes that his regime has achieved during his tenure of the last 2 years, and that for all the failures we have had to endure from Comrade Keir in relation to immigration, high taxation, high crime, high cost of living, high energy bills, the erosion of British values and freedom of expression, high unemployment and low investment, etc., etc., etc. That it hasn't been all bad. So I'll leave it to the man himself to tell you what he's achieved despite all the promises made. Take it away, comrade.
We're delivering free breakfast clubs across the country.
Yay!
Well said, comrade. And as he walks into the sunset, please remember that political events like these should always lead to very sobering thoughts, because when that door closes behind him, there's always another wanker ready to stand at that podium and assault our ears with bullshit all over again. God bless you all, and please subscribe because, believe me when I say, there's plenty more on the way.
Can you find my wig for court, please, sweetie? There's an Islamic terrorist that needs my help.